but I didn't. I guess I dropped the second pylon immediately, just out of some habit from somewhere in the
Yeah.
past.
This map has a bunch of different options for walls.
Mm-hmm.
You use this one in I think every game on this map, so I presume this is your default for this map.
Right now it is. I've also used the other one to the left, and I feel comfortable there too. But I've been playing with this one recently. Yeah.
You like it just because it's next to production?
Yeah, the production and its quick access to the gas. So
Yep. Okay.
yeah.
Um,
I feel like my decision making there was a little bit sluggish.
what was sluggish? Going to pylon?
Uh, yeah, something in that nature. I think
Okay.
this pylon that I built on the ramp should have walled in the second cannon like hard instead of like I thought of walling the cannon after the fact.
Okay.
And so like I built it here thinking, oh, the probes can't get to it, but I forgot about Zealot Rally. So I think just walling it entirely would have been better.
Okay.
And I think if the second cannon gets up that way, then probably in a pretty good position.
All right. How are you feeling at this point in the game?
Panicked. Um, I don't have a cannon or a gateway, so that's kind of bad.
All right.
Um, like can't go
What is
in.
your goal right now? So it looks like your goal currently is pull the wall here next to this pylon and build
I,
gateway.
I I think I think my goal was to try and reestablish a cannon. I think it should have been to make zealots.
Okay. So like throw down two small gateways
Yeah,
and sell it.
but I'm not practiced in that yet, so I'm like I've only started trying to do that option like in the last, I would say, week or two. Whenever Turkey Dano
Pretty
put
much
his
same here.
video on.
Pretty much same here.
Okay.
Well, the video that Dan, I'm not sure. I think Dan made the video like completely separately from me. Investigating Matt Gateway meme. It just happened to come up around the same time.
I see.
All
But
right.
yeah, looking at this game, he only had one gateway, so like
Yeah.
there it was perfectly reasonable to go for it.
Yeah, that's the general reasoning behind the mass sell thing is if they're cutting if they're delaying their cyber and not getting a second gateway and
Hmm.
just pulling all the probes, you can get like two or three gateways up, and then you can just outproduce them at some point.
I see.
All right, so what in your opinion were the key points in this game? Key
Um,
points and mistakes. If you had to play this game
mm,
differently,
Not
what?
walling the second cannon, and then uh, when I was in like this pylon,
This pylon being next to a
yeah,
cannon. Yeah.
mm-hmm. And then when I had no cannons, I should have just spammed gateways.
Okay.
I think those are the two things I would have changed.
Okay. So let's go back to the start here. So talking about your opening in this game, you do something. You open differently in this game than you do in the other two PvP games you sent me.
Okay.
Uh, and you open differently in several ways, but they are all consistent. So I'm not sure if this was a deliberate variation or if you just coincidentally made a whole bunch of mistakes that were consistent in a goal.
Okay.
But you like you said before, you chrono to time out with your pylon finishing instead of at the start of the game. Along with that, you pylon scout and go up to 17 probes instead of playing at 16, and you forward scout. Compared to in the other games, chronoing at the start of the game, I think you at least chrono at the start of the game. The other ones, and then 13 scouting and cutting at 16 probes. So what you're doing here basically is like a later, slightly higher economy cannon rush, and the variations were all consistent towards that goal. So I wasn't sure if it was deliberate or if it was an accident. It sounds like that was just an accident and a coincidence.
My understanding is that the pylon chrono lines up for a 17th probe. So if I 0 chrono, I get to stay at 16, and then I have like my 250 sooner as a result.
Yeah, okay. So that was at least somewhat deliberate there.
Yeah. I guess to some extent.
Okay. I guess the only thing then is that the pylon scout is consistent with that as well compared with the scout.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I like the 13, 15 scouts.
Okay.
On most maps, I think that's probably optimal. There are some maps where pylon scouting is probably better.
Okay.
I think it's never better to pylon scout if you are expecting to be metagamed, so I wouldn't do it even on those maps, but I think there are maps where it's correct otherwise. If you're going to do one thing on every map, though, I would suggest doing the 13 scout.
I see.
The reasoning basically is that if you pylon scout, you're timing it out so you get to the opponent's base roughly when you have 300 minerals, so you can throw in all 3 pylons at once.
Right.
Most of the time, these 3 pylons are just going to die to a large worker pool, and it's somewhat difficult to recover from that position. If it's a map that has a really strong wall, like Lost and Found, then it can be correct to do this to guarantee you get the wall up, and you know that's going to hold. So that would be the exception, like Lost and Found or Parasite was another good map for this. I did this when I was doing my barcode thing.
I see.
I was pylon scouting those maps. But most of the time, I would rather get there faster because saving up and just building 3 pylons isn't a good consistent plan. Because if the opponent just pulls all the workers, is going to die before your cannon.
Gotcha. Okay.
He's in a bad spot.
Yeah.
So that's why the way we usually do it is we build the first pylon earlier, and then we try and get something up because it makes it slightly more difficult.
Yeah.
For us, but it's also difficult for the opponent. They have to anticipate everything that we're going to do, and then when we eventually build the wall, it's a lot faster because like we've already got the cannon starting sooner compared to the wall, and that means that the large worker pool doesn't just kill it.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why it's basically why I would suggest going for 13 and 15 scout timings, and those time out well with the chrono at the start of the game, right? So that gets your probe there a little bit faster. Because you just rally the first probe that you build and the third probe that you build.
Okay.
It makes it very easy. I guess another small note is on your pylon placement. I think this was consistent across all games. I guess the 3 theories on pylon placement are walling off, building it behind your mineral line, and doing what you did. Gurmy likes to wall off. I like to put it behind my mineral line. The Musero likes to put it where you put it. So because this is one of the options, I guess. I mean, premise that's everything you could possibly do except like sticking in the corner of your base to hide.
Oh my goodness.
So I guess I can't really complain about this though.
Okay.
I'm the least sold on this one, but
I see.
But it's not gonna lose you any game probably.
Sure.
Anyway, so you get his base. Your wall is slightly late. Even if you were just planning to throw it all down at 300 minerals, you're still late with that. You put it down at like 330 or something. That's just a mistake. Like I don't see any reason for that. I checked your vision to see if you were scouting. You went a little bit further up than necessary to scout one gas. You didn't scout the other gas. So I don't think you were scouting for that. If you're trying to make it look like a normal scout, then the extra 2 seconds there isn't relevant. And honestly, it's more likely it's going to just pull a worker to chase your worker regardless, and
that's
that
fair.
actually gives you less time than if you just beeline straight for this wall.
Okay.
So I'd rather you just go straight for it here. Goes down a little bit late. More importantly, your wall is incorrect. This last pylon should be square up. You make the same mistake in all the games. This pylon should be 1 square up so you can shift it down a square.
Okay. How do I get the... I guess... Can you get the probe out if you're shifting?
Yes.
Okay.
So
I guess I'm not consistent on that aspect of shifting then.
Right. So how are you how consistently can you pull off a pylon shift?
I can shift pretty consistently. I have a hard time getting
Um,
the. I don't know if I've ever gotten the probe out while shifting.
so the I think you're misunderstanding here. You would shift the pylon before it finishes, and then you go down and you build the cannon and you squeeze out the same way.
Oh, okay. I understand now. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
And so that just makes this wall a lot stronger.
Right.
Probably.
My order of operations is wrong, is what you're telling me.
Well, no, the pylon's just in the wrong spot.
Well, I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, in terms of why I'm not thinking about how to, or why I'm not getting the probe out when I do shift.
Yes. Well, sometimes you can also get the probe out by doing the shift, but in this case, it wouldn't be necessary. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, yeah. So then at this point, you go for another cannon. I'm not a huge fan of building this cannon right here because, well, I don't know, maybe. So the argument for building this cannon would be not to get a cannon. It would be to pull these probes off the pylon because the cannon is a higher priority threat, and that helps this wall survive longer, and that helps your first cannon go up. The argument would not be that you want this cannon to finish.
Sure. Okay.
So if that was why you built it, that was a mistake. If you built it to try and distract these probes, that's fine.
I see.
Because there's probes right that could kill it. He can also pull more probes to come kill before you can wall it in. Yeah, because he's not targeting the bottom pylon, you don't need to get another pylon here to make sure your first cannon doesn't get unpowered. If he had more probes attacking this, and you thought the cannon was going to finish but was going to be unpowered because all the pylons would die, then this cannon should definitely have been a pylon. Yeah, so there was some sloppy micro there. Let's just go back and look at that. So your probe here, you're clicking a little bit too close to it, and then not continuing to click, so it slows down and stops. Gets hit, and then you're like tell to do a direct 180 and do this. If your goal is to juke the probe, you don't want it to stop. You want to move away from it and then just directly turn around and
yeah,
before the opponent can react.
I find that I remember proper probe pathing when I'm not concerned about placing a building. And then the moment my brain says I need to drop something, I like throw everything out the window, and my decision to how I move my probe just is like, what is the shortest route?
Okay, yeah, so
I do need to work on that. Just in general.
I mean, there's a lot of layers to this micro, right? It's like the basic layer, I guess, is don't lose your probe.
Sure.
And then the next layer would be don't lose your probe while building structures in useful spots. Right, and the third layer is like have your probe to that spot such that it arrives there when you have the money you need, and that you take as little damage as possible along the way. So that third layer adds a lot more to it. But the first two layers you should definitely be able to manage.
Okay.
The difficulty, I guess, is that you're focused a lot on where your structures all need to be to do the walling, and unless your probe is low on health, you don't consider it, right? Because if your probe is at 5 health, you wouldn't have done what you just did here. I'm pretty sure of that, right?
Sure.
Because you'd be like, oh, my probe's in danger. The problem is that I guess you're considering the first 5 damage it takes to be less important than the last 5 damage, which is true that it is less important, right? And especially like if the opponent isn't actively trying to kill your probe, it's probably fine to take a bunch of damage on it to get the wallet faster. The problem really wasn't the decision making here. It was just the fact that you let your probe stop moving, which is something you shouldn't ever really do.
Gotcha.
Right, so like you should just always be clicking your probe to keep moving.
Okay.
And then you should be like, oh, I want a pylon there. Okay, and then you just tell it to click back, and it should already have been moving at full speed, and so it keeps moving at full speed and turns around.
Okay.
Mineral walk out of there was reasonably quick. And so here was the, I think the first mistake that you noted for yourself, right, was the cannon not being walled in here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is where I want to talk about the other thing. So I'm coaching a Gold League player right now. Well, Gold League Zerg, apparently Silver League Protoss, who had never canned before. Anyway, I told him that his second probe is just a spare in case his first probe dies, and so he can just leave it in his opponent's natural.
Okay.
You are not in Gold League.
Okay.
You have to actually use this thing.
Okay.
So this is something you did in all of your games. You just left your probe in the natural and just use it as a spare.
Yeah.
The reason we send 2 probes is not so that we have a spare.
Okay.
It's so that we have the ability to maneuver.
Okay.
Basically, right? So like if your first probe are being chased by 6 probes, it can't do anything. It's disabled.
Ah. Okay.
You bring your second probe in, and you use it, right? And even if there are 6 probes chasing your first one, it can still do stuff if the opponent isn't microing those 6 probes.
Right.
The opponent cannot micro against both probes at the same time. And so having 2 probes means you can outmaneuver the opponent and get something up, regardless of what you're trying to do. That's why losing 1 probe or having your second probe walled out is so bad, because now you only have 1 probe and you can't maneuver against your opponent anymore, and then you just shut it down by sticking a lot of probes on it. In this case, it doesn't make a huge difference, but your second probe should definitely be the one building this pylon.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense.
Additionally, because of the distance you ran your probe away, I don't think it would have been able to. It might have been able to build that pylon before the Zealot finish. It would have been extremely close.
Yeah, the second probe is definitely easier to get there. It's not being attacked. Yeah. It's technically closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of reasons to have built that with your second probe instead of the first one.
Yeah.
The micro I'm building that pylon also was not good. You should just make it a habit of doing the moving build, not the build and then shift Q through mineral.
Okay.
There are situations where you'll see me build something and then shift Q away, but that's because I know what I'm doing. Don't.
Okay.
Really muscle memory of building it with the moving build.
Okay.
Yes, you just take like that.
Yeah.
Maybe even 2 hits. I don't think you need to take either of those. So yes, I agree with you that walling in this cannon would have been correct. And if you'd done with your second probe, then you definitely could have managed that. Mostly because the opponent wasn't pulling workers for it. As I mentioned earlier, this cannon should have been to distract probes, not to actually get a cannon. But it worked out regardless. And the opponent was not pulling enough probes to kill your first cannon if you had done the wall properly and shifted a pylon. Right, so this first cannon should have just been in a great spot, but that second cannon shouldn't have been necessary against this reaction. Anyway, given that we're in this situation right now, your second probe should come in and start attacking that zealot. Any damage you deal is good damage to it. If it attacks your probe, that's 3 attacks. It's not dealing to the cannon, which means realistically 3 attacks the cannon gets off, which is 60 damage. Right?
Okay.
So your probe either deals a bunch of damage to the zealot by attacking it, or ideally takes 2 hits and survives, or worst case scenario takes 3 hits, and then your cannon gets like another 60 damage on the zealot.
Okay.
So your probe is always going to make a huge difference in this fight, regardless of whether the opponent attacks it or not.
Sure.
Ideally, your first probe won't be dying in the meantime, and also ideally, you don't lose your second probe in this process. Next big mistake here: this first cannon on the right should attack the zealot, not the probes. Your goal, your winning condition right now is this cannon next to the zealot finishes and wins the fight, and you re-wall it, and it cleans up production you in the game. That's your winning condition right now.
Okay.
Killing a couple of probes is not going to affect the outcome of this game.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
It's really hard to think of a situation in which killing 2 probes here actually makes a difference.
Yeah.
This cannon could have gotten, like, I counted earlier, I think it was like 5 shots off on the zealot, which, like, that almost kills the zealot on its own.
Right. Okay.
This probe should 100% be in position to re-wall this cannon when the zealot dies, as well as, attacking the zealot. Your winning condition here is you kill the zealot, re-wall the cannon, and then the cannon cleans up everything else. So
Okay.
you need to be optimistic here. It's not obvious who's going to win this fight between the cannon and the zealot. So you should be optimistic, have your probe in position, zap the zealot to make sure that you're the one who wins the fight, and then re-wall that cannon as soon as the zealot dies before something comes and blocks us. On that note, you don't want probes getting in here to block it. So you cancel this pylon next to the gateway. If you had a probe in position, for example, your second probe or even your first probe, if you had a probe in position to refresh the pylon instead of canceling it, that would have been very good play. Just canceling it, I think, was greedy. You need to, even if you don't have the probe in position to re-wall this cannon, if it kills the zealot and then probes come in and kill it, that's bad. So even just the fact that it keeps the probes out would be useful for that.
Sure. I'm not sure why I canceled it.
Probably
Anymore.
because you saw a final finish and you were like, money. That or you wanted to wall in this low ground cannon.
Okay.
Because you just built this low ground cannon, probably you're thinking to wall it in.
Possibly, right. Yeah.
Your goal at this point should still be this cannon on the high ground wins you the game.
Right.
So ideally refresh that pylon so you can cancel it to get your second probe into its base at some point. Be very optimistic and do everything you can to make sure your cannon beats the zealot and then re-wall it instantly before something can block it. Your cannon does barely lose that fight. It definitely would have won the fight if you'd been using your probe to help.
Yeah.
And then you could re-wall it, and like that obviously wins the game.
Right. Okay.
Given that cannon's dying, you built this low ground cannon, you should probably be trying to wall it in. I don't think you have the money to do so, but it was probably your best play to try at least. You could build 3 pylons, but I think you need 4 to wall this in. If you killed the zealot, maybe just only leaving 1 surface area would have been enough. And honestly, with 2 probes, you might still be able to get a snipe on that zealot, and then 1 probe worth of surface area is fine for you to keep that cannon up. So like 3 pylons here, right? You probably have the money for 3 pylons by the time this stuff arrives.
Okay.
Barring that, at this exact time, you have your probe coming down to the natural, right?
Yeah, I don't know why it's pat there.
His zealot just killed your cannon and is running off to the left. Okay? Your probe can just run past that zealot, drop a pylon, and drop a cannon. And now you have a walling cannon left.
Oh! I didn't even see that. Okay.
And then, again, here, this probe. Do the exact same thing,
yeah.
Even more easily. You don't need good micro.
Yeah, this one would be easier.
Yeah. And again, you don't do it. Okay, my last note is up to 20 apparently. Right. So
now I think about it. Oh my goodness.
So now you go for this again, and right here you could build another pylon where you had one earlier next to the gateway to the left of it. And that would buy you more time against the zealot.
I see.
Right, so you want this cannon to survive, so you can build a double layered wall here. So the cannon has to go through. The zealot has to go through 2 pylons to get to the cannon.
He can still go through the
building, or 1 pylon that's already at full health.
Ah, got it. Yeah,
Either
is
better than 1 pylon that just started.
Sure.
Right, so you can just buy yourself some amount of time by doing that. I think that was all I have for this game. At this point, you're dead. You've got like 3 zealots. 2 cannons down here doesn't make any sense. 1 cannon walled in is better, but 3 zealots are gonna kill any wall you build anyway. It would have at this point been too late to go for the mass zealot meme. You would have needed to commit to that sooner.
Okay.
But I don't think at any point this game you really needed to.
Okay.
It is a good play to have in your book, but it's not. And if you're trying to specifically practice it, then it's okay to try and force it.
Okay.
But if your goal is to play optimally rather than playing to learn, and obviously a lot of the time in practice you should be playing to learn, not to play optimally. We are playing to learn how to play optimally.
Sure.
So if you're playing optimally, this game you should not have gone for it.
Yeah.
If you're trying to specifically learn when that's good and how to transition into it and all that, then trying to force it this game is fine. But not that you actually
needed
did that here. But
yeah.
So that's my extremely in-depth analysis of a 3-minute game.
No, I'm good. That's great.
All right, so that took half an hour. So he sent me 2 other PvPs. I don't think we need to watch them, but I do want to talk about them.
Okay.
So he sent me one against against Rower, who's a pro. That's right. Yes, he sent me one against Rower. As I mentioned, you did a 13 scout in this game. I think you did that on both of them. But on both the other games, you 13 scout and then a forge scout. So that's inconsistent. If you do a 13 scout and a forge scout, they don't line up. So your second probe doesn't arrive when your pylon finishes. So
well, that's why it always feels funny. Okay. I noticed it felt funny breaking them up like that, but I couldn't figure out what was going on exactly. Okay.
Yeah. So the best way to do it is you chrono at the start of the game and you rally the first probe you build. Then you rally another probe back to your mineral line, and you build a pylon, and then you rally your next probe across the map, and then you build a forge with a different probe, not the one that you sent across the map.
Okay.
All right, so your 13th and your 15th probe are rallied across the map, and that times out well. Yeah, your wall was late again. Same thing. Third pylon was your wall was again in the wrong spots. Some general miss micro, take a lot of damage for no reason. Again, second probe being AFK made your first probe take more damage. Right, it's like it may also feel to you like you need your spare probe a lot because you maybe lose your first probe a lot, but you should lose it less often if you have 2 probes. For now, that might not be the case because you're not used to microing 2 probes, and so trying to do so will make you just lose a probe instantly.
I've gotten better at. I've been using both probes on Triton specifically.
Okay, that's good.
Because I've been playing with the like wall, there's like it's not a real mineral wall, but like it can become a mineral wall, I guess. Yeah. I
use that meme a lot at the start of Legacy of the Void, and after losing like 8 games in a row against Clem, I think it was, I beat him with that exact thing.
I didn't realize you can do that versus Terran.
He hasn't seen before.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. So sometimes you may feel like having 2 probes makes you lose your first probe faster because it's hard to micro it. But having 2 probes in theory makes it easier to keep them alive because you less often have to take damage on a probe in order to build something.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no. Your multitask simulator made it easier and something I wanted to try more. So
that's good. I'm glad to hear that someone actually finds that useful. Again, I make no claims that it actually improves your multitasking. It's just fun. Fun thing to play. There doesn't seem to be much of a correlation between multitasking ability and skill in that game, sadly. I thought there would be, but there doesn't seem to be based on my actual data collection.
Who knows?
Yeah. So this is the game where your opponent builds a ninja base. In this game, you should have been focusing his pylon instead of his gateway. You eventually shoot it, but I'm not sure if that's because your cannon decided to do that on its own. But pylon's definitely a higher priority than a gateway. If there are situations where it's better to shoot the gateway than the pylon, but that's usually because the opponent is going to have the option to repower the gateway anyway. Like if you're on the low ground with cannons and the opponent has a wall, then shooting the gateway is better because they can always just build another pylon to repower the gateway. Shooting the pylon. This was a situation where you had like the high ground cannon right next to the gateway and the pylon. In that case, the pylon dies faster. There could also be a situation where you maybe have 3 cannons in range of the gateway and only 1 in range of the pylon. In that case, you can kill the gateway faster. So it was again better to shoot the gateway. This again was not that case. It was better to shoot the pylon.
Okay.
You build so you have a gateway in his base, and he's got a ninja base coming up somewhere. I don't think he found it at this point, but it doesn't matter whether he found it or not here. You build a zealot from your gateway, which is good. You want to do that. Zealots are great for denying mining. You can treat it like against a proxy rack in PvT. Right? You build zealots and you go deny his mining, and then
yeah.
So same as against Terran, 1 zealot cannot fight workers. one zealot will just get surrounded and die. If they micro, you won't even kill anything. Usually they'll screw up, especially at your level. They'll lose a few workers, but they shouldn't have many losses.
then,
You'll just lose the zealot, and then they go back to mining and recall.
I mean, is a label?
One zealot can harass the workers, so it sits in a choke point between two mineral patches, and it like runs out and attacks the probe that's mining from it, and he pulls away. You can maybe chase a little bit. He tries this round. You run back to the choke, and you just be very annoying. Deny mining, maybe get a kill or two. Mostly just deny mining. And then the second zealot comes out, and then now you can fight the workers.
Right.
And
so
you'll pretty surely after that point have the recall available, but you'll get some kills in, and you'll get a couple more kills while you're recalling. And then you still have two zealots instead of having thrown away one zealot to kill like a probe, and then have a second zealot come out and not do anything.
So essentially, the lesson is that the first zealot needs to be microed until to a safe location until the second one marries up with it. Yes.
Speaking of, in that game, you did not build a second zealot. Instead, you built a forward cannon to hit half the mineral line. And you built this like after your first zealot was out already. It's way faster to build a second zealot than to build a cannon.
Okay.
The second zealot will do more for you as well. It can hit the entire mineral line and the gas on the far side, whereas your cannon would only hit like half the mineral line. Your zealots can go attack the new base or just join up the army for a later push, and it's cheaper. Like I said, it builds faster. There's a lot more utility to getting a second zealot than building a forward cannon there.
Okay. So another thing is on production, if one, then both. Is that correct?
Yes, and generally the zealots are superior to the cannon here.
Okay.
There are situations where you would want a cannon, like if the opponent is not giving up his main. You know, if he has like a robo in the back, you want to just spam cannons and overpower him before he gets a critical mass of immortals out. But if he's going for a ninja base, which you knew he was doing, then zealots are good.
Okay.
Your cyber finished like quite a while before you actually used it. So your transition was not smooth. This was, I think, a common theme in all of your games, because your transitions weren't particularly smooth. Yeah, your cyber finish used to immediately be like starting warp gate or stalker or a robo or something. You need to use it for something.
Yeah. I think in PvP, I feel the least smooth on my transition for some reason. I'm not sure. So, I feel like PvT, the whole game plan is the transition anyway. So, the only thing I'm thinking about is dropping tech. And then PvZ is kind of similar in that. Yeah. But PvP, I feel like there's two clear stages.
Yeah, I agree. PvP is the most ambiguous, and it's the one where strategic flexibility is rewarded the most. PvT, you can win the game with cannons, but mostly you're okay just playing for the transition. A lot of the time, in PvZ, obviously, you're just playing for the transitionist, like pull all the workers.
Yeah.
PvP is one where you have to make the most decisions about whether you're going to continue to commit or start to transition. So I agree with that.
Okay.
You try to cannon rush his ninja base here when you see that he has 2 gateways and a cyber at his ninja. Yeah. That's extremely optimistic. That's not going to work ever. Similarly, you see 2 gateways and a stalker, and you decide to poke with 1 stalker. You almost lose drop down to 4 health. That was also a bad idea.
Yeah. Okay.
Aside from that, you just generally didn't seem to have a plan for if your opponent builds a ninja base. You built a Stargate at home and built a few Phoenix.
Yeah,
some weird push and did a really late expansion when your opponent already had 2 bases and more economy.
Yeah, I feel like
died.
On some maps, if they ninja base, I feel perfectly fine because I'm either used to finding ninja bases on the map or there's some high ground position that I'll just reset up a proxy. Yeah, I'm not. I feel like it's so if I don't scout the ninja base in time to gas steal, I feel like that's very dangerous for me.
Yes, I agree. It is worse if that happens.
Like, if I can at least take the gases, I'm not too worried.
Yeah.
But this was not the case.
Yeah, this was a good execution of a ninja-based defense from the opponent. All things considered. Yeah, so there's a few various responses to the ninja base, right? If you scout it very quickly, and you can commit to scouting very quickly if you want that to be your go-to plan for now. You're at a level where that's definitely fine. You can like send 4 probes scouting for it. Like,
Okay,
sure. You
sure.
find it instantly and just cannon the hell out of it.
Okay,
Right?
okay.
I don't think that's the optimal plan, and you will likely struggle a lot more against proxy void, right? If you do that.
Okay.
But it is an option. And especially in situations where you know he's not going proxy void, right? Like if he's gasless or something, it could be an option. The other one is just scout for it, somewhat passively, but also somewhat actively. Send maybe 1 probe from your main base one way around the map, and a probe from the can rush the other way. And you'll find it reasonably quickly. And then if you get the opportunity, you can rush or steal gases. And then the go-to transition that I always do, which I think is the best, is just a 3-gate robo all in.
Okay.
Because it's good middle ground, right? There's nothing is particularly bad against, and there's a couple things is really good against, like Blink. It's pretty bad against Immortals, but mostly it doesn't lose anything, and you should be ahead from here, and so you just try not to throw your lead and kill him.
Okay.
Most of the time, the ninja base is not going to have very defensible terrain. Right? So you're not like fighting into a choke point or up a ramp or anything, and so 3-gate robo should be pretty good to kill him if you're ahead.
Okay. I feel like I can recall a couple games where they've managed to tuck in their ninja base like on a corner or some location that they can cannon into voids, and it's like really awkward.
Cannon into voids.
Yeah, they like build a forge and then, well, no, actually, in hindsight, I was just late on my transition, I think. So
yeah,
I think
that sounds pretty bad.
Yeah, I think I was just late on transitioning.
Yeah, and you can even just like reactively switch builds if you see that.
Okay.
Like you can set up such a hard container that while switching to Phoenix. Like,
okay, yeah, sure.
There's no way he can do anything there.
Sure.
If he's turtling on cannons and void rays. Yeah. So basically, this game it seemed like you didn't have a plan for if the game went this way, and so there's nothing. I don't think there's any need to watch the game. It's just you need a plan.
Yeah. Sure.
The other one was the game you won. You way overcommitted to trying to break his cannons because his cannons were not in a he went defensive forge. His cannons were not in a position where you could realistically overpower them. They were pretty far back, pretty conservative. He was just zoning you out, not trying to purge you. You commit way too much to cannons there. You should have just transitioned a lot faster.
Okay.
Your robo was 32 gas late for no reason. Your probe count was extremely low this game. You had like I think 14 probes on minerals, maybe something like that, which is not good. You had a lot of idle units this game. You went into Robo Stargate, which is good. That's a good tech path to be going. Good production. But your units were idle. Like you had an Immortal just sitting around not doing anything. Immortals should always be shooting the cannons in that situation. He went Stargate. He had Void Rays. Your tech was way faster than his, despite the slow transition, because defensive forge sets you back a lot as well. You're in a pretty good spot here against Stargate because your Immortal can chew through his battery energy so quickly, which is how you win this game. But you could have won it like even harder by really capitalizing on this fact. So, like an Immortal shooting a cannon is it deals 50 damage when an Immortal shoots a cannon, right?
Oh,
a cannon deals 20 damage. So you're like killing his battery energy twice as quickly as he's killing yours if you're just fighting one-on-one against a cannon.
So my Immortals should have been engaging more constantly, is what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
You need to use your units.
Gotcha.
Especially before his Void Ray was out, there was no reason to just have your Immortal be at 8k.
Yeah. Okay.
And at one point you had like 2 Immortals of 1 Void Ray against 1 Void Ray. Like you should 100% be attacking immediately at that situation.
Okay.
Like you'll kill everything and not you shouldn't be losing anything to 1 Void Ray. Yeah, you also, especially like it is timed out with you having 2 batteries just finish up, so that's another good time to be pushing.
Mm.
It would have been good to have high ground batteries as well. I think you had some room for them, but you didn't have room for them like at the start of the game. So you might have not refreshed in your head that you now had room.
Okay.
And then at the end, you fought with one of your Void Rays AFK, but you won the fight anyway because your opponent didn't have any energy on his batteries because of your Immortals.
Right.
Is the entire game plan.
Okay.
So you won that game, and it was you mostly had the right plan. It was just some execution errors. So again, don't need to watch it.
Okay.
Do you have any questions about those 2 games that we just quickly went over?
No, I think that summarizes my why I sent the replays in, I guess.
All right. I think that was the only win that you sent in. So I am slightly curious about your choice on that.
I think I noticed I was already sending in a number of Eternal Empire games, so I at least felt like checking the general direction I actually wanted to go, as opposed to getting thrown off course so many times, would be a decent reference point.
Okay. Right, okay, so let's watch this PvT against Jin.
Okay.
He's on Nightshade, awful map. Actually, this isn't PvZ, so it's kind of an okay map.
Yeah.
PvZ is just another one that sucks. I think Dan is this map just because of the lighting.
The lighting gets to me a lot.
Yeah.
I have messed up walls on this map more than the other ones in the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So, you said you don't cannon much against Terran. So what's your general idea about PvT cannons?
I think so. This account is my cannon only account, the Assault Miner. I rotate them every so often, but right now it's a cannon only account. So when I'm playing on this account, it's just like, well, we'll try it anyway, see how it goes. I generally pick one map to do it on for the season for my all-purpose account, and that's right now it's Zen. I'm thinking of switching it to Eternal Empire just because I'm so frustrated playing macro games on Eternal Empire. But
That's a good reason.
Effectively, what it comes down to is that I think it's a good like one-off versus Terran in a competitive setting.
Yep.
But I don't feel like it's something I can rely on because there's so many different tank variations. Anything that involves a tank, and it's like, okay, this is awkward. I mean, like, you can snipe the tank with the Void Ray, but it should be coming out before the Void Ray, I guess.
It's slightly before, maybe.
Yeah.
It depends on how much you spend on the Terran, but usually they don't get 3 shots off.
Sure.
At least transition is delayed, which it can often be.
That's fair.
Yeah. Anyway, so this game you go for the Pylon Forge Scout. This game and one other game. In the third game, you go 13 Scout, Forge Scout.
Okay.
Which again, so all of these should be 13 Scout, 15 Scout.
Okay.
I mentioned in PvP that there are maps where Pylon Scouting, Forge Scouting is good.
Okay.
I don't think that's ever the case in PvT.
Interesting.
Because in PvT, you're on a much shorter timer because Marines shut you down way harder than Zealots do. So if the Marine comes out, your probe dies.
Yeah.
You need to have a cannon coming up by that point. So therefore, you have to be faster. You cannot just wait for commander minerals.
Gotcha.
Even on the really good maps for it.
Gotcha.
So I think you pretty much always.
So is that also why you're against low ground starts?
Yeah, no, that's for a different reason.
Oh, okay.
We can talk about it if you want, but let's talk about that later.
Okay, sure.
Your forge is just late for no apparent reason. Like your probe's even in position right now. It just isn't going down.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And it's just like 60 minerals late for no reason. Your probe got there when you were 20 minerals late, which is already a little bit slow, but then it sat there and did nothing for 40 minerals.
Yeah, can't remember why.
Just some weird mechanical error there.
Yeah.
And I don't like to focus too much on mechanical errors, but it is worth noting. Them.
Yeah.
Right, so let's go forward a little bit. Drop the pylon, and this is like you're playing as though you were 13 scouting, but you did a pylon scout. Right, like you're dropping one pylon instead of the entire wall at once.
Yeah.
So that's how you play when you do a 13 scout, but you have 300 minerals because you did a pylon scout, but you aren't playing like you have that.
Yeah.
So it's just this is extremely inconsistent.
Yeah. Okay, I think some of it is just blending different things in my head and not knowing what's separate.
That's possible. On the topic of having enough money for an entire wall, he's not blocking your wall right now, so you should probably just like go try and build it at least.
Okay.
I don't think he's blocking it. Could be wrong. At the very least,
I don't think he is.
Pylon finish. At the very least, now you could do a wall, right? Like gateway cannon at the very least.
Sure.
You need to try from the entire 3 pylons. You don't even try for it this game. You should definitely at least try for it if he's not blocking it. You go straight to the low ground.
I think I forgot that this
about PvT, you just play straight for the transition,
and
that means you aren't punishing your opponent's mistakes. And this ties in to what we were just talking about low ground versus high ground starts.
Okay.
So if you're going to just play straight for a transition, I still think it's wrong to start on the low ground because your opponent doesn't know that. Right? Your opponent doesn't know your only plan is to go for a transition, which means they have to respect your high ground pylon, and that slows them down. Right? If they are not making this mistake, that means that they are investing more in preventing this high ground cannon from going up.
I see.
And if they don't invest that, then you just kill them. So sometimes you just get free wins. The rest of the time, the Terran slows himself down, preventing you from getting a free win.
I see.
So that's why I don't like low ground starts.
Okay.
Because they're just way less threatening. The Terran has to respect them a lot less.
You're kind of removing the threat of the of what is potential.
Yeah. Also, as far as low ground goes, this cannon doesn't hold the ramp. It's also a square too high, but I think, but we can blame the cliff edge for that, I guess. I think it's a square too high. I don't know. I haven't played Printf enough, I guess. My initial impression was a square too high. Now I'm actually. Regardless, this cannon doesn't hold the ramp. You need it, I guess, of course, because you can't just directly build the one that does hold the ramp. You should probably build the one that does hold the ramp a little bit sooner.
Okay.
We have some major missed micro that we need to talk about coming up here.
Okay.
You try and hold this ramp with your probe. This bunker is nowhere near the ramp. You shouldn't ever have difficulty holding this without taking damage, but your probe is clicked like basically to the A move into the ramp, into the bunker. Like if you,
I see.
For example, so at the very least, click on the side of the ramp that's further from the bunker instead of the middle of the ramp here.
Yeah.
Alright, like his bunker is nowhere near the ramp. You have a lot of room to get high ground without getting hit, and you just like run straight into the bunker. Okay, apparently that happens later. I got my time wrong. You at least stick to this time. And later in this game, you do that.
Ah.
Yes. Here it is. See?
I did it twice in a row.
You shouldn't be losing the pro here. The bunker is nowhere near.
Yeah.
I think you do it again with a zealot. There you go. So you need to get a lot better at that. That's extremely important in PvT.
It's so low where it can gain vision. I always forget how low it is. Like in my brain, it's like halfway, but it's really like a fourth.
Yeah. I think it's on like a third. But
yeah.
The problem I think a lot of it is that the ramp, it isn't always visually clear where the bottom is. So it sometimes seems like you're lower on the ramp than you actually are.
Yeah.
If you rotate the screen, for example, you can see the Zell's actually a lot further up the ramp than it looks. But when your screen is in build mode, it actually looks like it's very low on the ramp.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, where Zell is of course not safe because you can just empty the bunker and run around and shoot it. But that's beside the point because the opponent doesn't do that. Your transition here was pretty slow. I almost, I guess, go back and watch that. But your cyber and your gas were quite late. So you've got both these cannons started at this point. So now you should be being like, okay, I've invested what I am planning to invest to hold this ramp. Okay, I have my 2 cannons going. That's all I plan on investing to hold this ramp.
Gases.
So I should start my transition. I've got 185 minerals. That's 2 gases and probe right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And you eventually do it. Took you a while, but you do eventually do it. And then microing. Your cyber is extremely late. So you're like 450 minerals when this gateway finishes. You're not mining from your gases. You start a zealot. Your cyber does not go down. So this is 235 when your gateway finishes. Watch me saturate your gases and throw it on your cyber. I don't remember when your gases finished, but it was... So Zealot's done. Zealot's done. It's been 30 seconds since your gateway finished. And there goes the cyber.
Okay.
This might be why you feel like the tank is out before the void ray.
Yeah, that'll do it. That alone, never mind however late my Stargate is in relation to the cyber.
Yeah. So that basically is like a game-ending mistake already.
Yeah.
It's recoverable because your opponent's going to be making a lot of mistakes on their end, but it puts you in a very bad spot to start. Coming up soon. Here, you built 2 cannons in your mineral line at this point. What did you see that told you to do this?
Nothing. I just had money.
Alright, that's what I thought. In my notes, I literally have, why are you doing this? Is it just because you're floating block minerals?
Yeah. Just
so
money.
That's, I mean, it's a way to spend them, sure, which is great. But your front isn't massively fortified right now. Like, you're just building your first battery.
Yeah.
So I would rather you focus on that first.
Okay.
But building cannons at home because you have money is good to do at some point. But like the opponent doesn't have a Cerebro yet. He could have perhaps proxied the factory, so they would help against that. But fortifying the proxy is a much higher priority right now.
Yeah, I've definitely done it because I saw a proxy, but in this case was definitely just money.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, I've got one more note on this game. So the opponent goes for like this really fast Viking harass thing, which is interesting.
Yeah.
You get a nice free snipe on his tank, which is fantastic.
I had no idea that a Viking and a mule could kill so much.
Right, so this Viking flies right through your cannon, which is good for you. You take forever to notice this Viking, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this was ugly.
Now you notice it. And your first reaction to a Viking in your mineral line is to aim all your probes at it. Can work?
I don't know where my brain was. I think I saw the Viking and I was like, it's so low health. And then I was like, wait, but there's a mule. But, huh?
Yeah, I mean, aside from the fact that the Viking can just lift up and fly...
Right.
Or like tighten its choke point between the cyber and the cliff. Or
yeah, just lots of things.
Not die. Your first reflex should have been recall your Void Ray. Instead, you weren't looking at your Void Ray and it suicide itself in a bunch of things.
Yeah, okay.
So if your first reflex here had been recall the Void Ray, save the probes, perhaps could have been fine.
I guess I had already sniped the first tank, so like, I don't even need the Void Ray here anymore.
Yeah, you also for some reason built a second Void Ray instead of a Tempest. When did that start? I didn't even notice this my first viewing. Why is there a second Void Ray? Yeah, that shouldn't have.
Yeah, I don't know.
You should be saving up for the Tempest.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I didn't actually notice that when I first walked through. Yeah, I guess the first time I was watching through, I just assumed that this was the same void ray as before, and then
Yeah.
the second time, I didn't go this far.
Okay.
Yeah, the only other thing I have in this game is I don't know why you stayed in this long. Like, even I wouldn't have. If I remember correctly, you dropped down to 0 to 5 before leaving this game.
Did I?
There are advantages to staying in a game after you're dead, but you took a little bit far.
Sure.
I believe you literally dropped to 0 to 5. Maybe I'm thinking of a different one. There was one of the games you sent me where you literally go down to 0 to 0. I think like this is a good time to do it.
Sure.
Let's be honest here.
Yeah, yeah.
I think come trust snap and kill them. Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of fantasy. What is this? Any questions on that game?
No.
All right. Yeah. The point basically here was, I know you like playing to the transition in PvT, and that's fine. It is good to get a lot of practice in that. If you want, though, you can definitely take advantage of your opponent's mistakes with the high ground start. You can.
Okay.
You could have won this game a lot more easily, I think, if you just built a cannon and a gateway where he wasn't blocking it.
Yeah.
Your transition was extremely slow. Very late start mining gas, very late cyber, and a lot of missed micro on the ramp. Those might be related. You might have been very distracted trying to micro on the ramp, and that might be why your transition was so late.
Yeah.
So I would say focus on cleaning up the ramp micro.
Okay. That's fair.
Not difficult once you just practice it a little bit.
Yeah.
Mostly the struggles there are simply because you don't have any intuition of where you should be on the ramp.
Sure.
But the ramps are all pretty similar, so but once you figure out once, you're fine.
Yeah, I think I feel like the Nightshade and Eternal Empire ramps are weird to look at for me, but the other ones are more straightforward.
All right. I don't really know the difference between most maps. There are some slight differences, but most of the time they're the same. I don't remember those maps specifically being different, but it's possible. So you've got another game where like your gas and cyber are incredibly late. You literally have like 1,000 minerals to 100 gas. Like yeah, you've already lost the game at that point. Like at that point, I would probably do something stupid so at that point you've lost the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have. Let's jump into it really quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, at that point, if you're that far behind, you've lost the game. Okay, but you can win games that you've lost. I do it all the time.
Mm.
The way to win a game that you've already lost is to find some kind of winning condition, right? So it's a winning condition not where you do something and then you win the game. It's where you do something and your opponent does something and then you win the game.
Right.
Right. You no longer have control over whether you win the game or not. You need your opponent to do something. So you just assume that they are doing it, and then you play to hard counter the hell out of it.
Okay.
And then that can get you back in the game.
Yeah.
Right. So an obvious example of this is double robo in PvP. Right. If they build a Stargate, you lose. So you just assume they aren't building a Stargate, and you do something that hard counters everything on the ground. And if they build a Stargate, you lose. Great. That's why you don't do it every game.
Yeah.
But if you're super far behind, you've already lost the game. That can get you back into it. So this game, for example, I probably would have just thrown out 5 gateways and gone for like mass charge and hope that he moved out and just mass right. Or didn't. It's pretty unlikely you win with that, but it's conceivable. So already we're floating 600 minerals, no cyber, no gases, no anything for a transition. Those should have gone down like a couple minutes ago. You have a zealot done again, just like last game. You just like aren't transitioning at all.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because you said that PvT you play specifically for the transition.
I feel like you have to, but I guess
I just aren't seeing you transition in these games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's that. And now they finally go down. You're already at 650 minerals when you start.
Yeah.
So huge imbalance there. 4 micro to defend this. At this point, it honestly would have been better to just surround the bunker and click on it than trying to kill his SEV.
Okay.
Especially because if it's surrounded, the Marine can't get into the bunker. So
Oh.
that's honestly like an okay response
Yeah. Okay.
at any point in the bunker being built. If it's low health, then you surround and just kill it instantly. If it's high health, you surround and kill before the Marine can get in it because you're blocking it. There are times when killing SCV is fine. Like if it goes down early and the SCV is exposed, you can just put a couple probes on it.
Mm-hmm.
Here I would rather just try and kill it. Now the SCV is exposed, now you can put a couple probes on it.
Mm-hmm.
Very poor micro against the Marine as well. And the Marine right now should be trapped and killed. Like this Marine instantly should be trapped right now. It's running into three Marines, into three probes while being trapped. But you just like mineral walk through the Marine to let it out. And you barely get to killing it. You go back to killing the SCV. The SCV at this point, I mean,
kind of
if you kill,
irrelevant.
that's nice. Realistically, it should hop into the bunker and hide, but that's probably only GMs are going to do that. You're building a cannon, so you're only worried right now should be killing the next Marine before it gets in the bunker. You can let the cannon deal with the rest of the bunker.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you best want to negotiate that, but yeah, this pylon wall was your cannon's finishing already, so the threat is over. You don't need to do that.
Yeah.
And about now, you finally start mining gas, and like I said, you have 1,000 minerals, and you're just starting to mine gas.
Yeah.
So you're not even using that gas. You finally start using it. So yeah, like Proton 5 gateways, get charged, and hope your opponent does something stupid.
Yeah, we're so late on. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We're so late on our transition that there's no point in continuing for it anymore.
Yeah, you have to, if you're trying to win the game, you have to switch plans into something that hard counters something your opponent might do. And
I think
that's strong enough to get you back in the game.
I think I had no sense of where I was in the game at this point. I think like.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying your opponent was playing this perfectly either. Like their factory is like 2/3 done. It could have been done by now a while ago, probably.
Yeah, I think
they're just scanning the second gas.
I'm probably like what, a minute or two behind now right now from like standard, and like I don't think that even registered to me.
Yeah.
So that is that helps in a way, I guess.
Yeah, so the rest of this game is pointless to watch. You
right
didn't do any kind of meme like I said with like 5 gate max thing. You just try to play standard and die because you're so far behind.
Yeah.
The rest of that.
Okay.
And there is a little bit I want to talk about this last game because it was an interesting one. I actually want you to talk about this one first, kind of like we did that first game.
Okay.
Against Bojankins, which was the one you asked me if you set the right map, which you did.
Yeah.
He goes Proxy Cyclone in this game, which is something I don't encounter very often, but it is a thing. I've seen Proxy Tank, I think, or even then I've seen Proxy Cyclone. Not that Proxy Tank is good or popular.
Okay.
Cyclone isn't either.
I feel like I see Proxy Cyclone or Proxy Hellion, but I feel like it's uncommon for them to proxy at all.
Yeah,
for
I
me.
agree with that. GM as well.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna watch this one on like times 2 or times 4 because it's longer. But I want you to go through it first.
Okay. So
it seems you played this guy. This was your second game. The first one was on Triton, I guess.
Yes.
Did you win or lose that first game?
I lost. I did not cannon.
Oh, okay.
But I've played him before, so like, he knows a little bit about my style. I know a little bit about his style. Anyway, okay. But it's been so long. In any case. So I guess I built the cannons and my gateway, and I guess I'm starting my transition. I passed the factory, but I don't think it registered till like a little bit later. I want to say it didn't register until like my cyber completed.
Oh, well, clearly it registered by now because you started your cannons at home.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, started the cannons, and then I don't even know what I was thinking about the proxy specifically, like what I was expecting. I'm not sure.
I would imagine you were expecting Hellions or Widow Mines.
Yeah, I guess so.
Your cannons counter both of those.
Yeah. I think I was expecting Hellions. In any case, I built the Stargate, and then I think I built a Robo.
And you build it at home.
Yeah. Which, in hindsight, I'm not sure what I was... So I think in my mind, I made the decision because my brain said a warp prism is necessary for cyclones. Or, no, did I even see the cyclone yet?
No, I don't believe you've seen this.
I don't think so.
I don't think you... yes, I guess you did. It looks like it goes down about the same time you see the cyclone, so it could have been a reaction to it.
Okay.
The cyclone popped in. I don't know if you saw it at that point. Most likely you had not seen the cyclone when you built the Robo, but you technically had vision of it. I don't think you probably yourself saw the cyclone. I'm just going to watch your perspective here.
Glory to the Daemon.
So I'm mostly looking to see what you
I may have done this out of curiosity, then.
Yes,
because
pan your screen home. This is right as the cyclone pops up on your mini map, but I highly doubt you noticed that.
No, I don't think so. Oh.
Yeah. The cyclone wanders on your screen.
Yeah, I'm already
that was
queued it.
not a reaction.
Yeah. So I think what this was is I've been trying the Robo at home in PvP, and I think this doesn't transfer in hindsight.
All right.
In hindsight, I don't think this transfers, but I'm not sure.
The firstborn shall persevere.
When I was watching this, I assumed it was a response to the proxy cyclone, but I guess it was not.
Yeah. So my thinking what about if it had been proxy cyclone may have been just tied to the idea of a warp prism, and like that may have been the extent of my planning. But now looking at what I had vision of, I think it was more likely I just like, I'm being proxied. Let's build our Robo at home because that's what we do in PvP, and I don't know what to do. And then from here, I'm just lost. I'm like, I'm not supposed to have a Robo in this matchup. What am I doing? Yeah, I think like, well, I guess we need income, so we're just going to invest everything into the proxy and even put a Nexus there, and I don't know, we made a Robo, so we'll use it, and yeah, I don't know if I had a game plan relevant to the matchup.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you're off the script, right? So this
Yeah.
point, you're improvising.
Yeah.
You won't have a game plan for this kind of situation, but that doesn't mean that you can't play better.
Right. I was very stubborn at trying to do something up here, and I don't really know. I can't. I mean, I guess I could have sent the Adepts away and harassed with them instead, but I don't know if that would have made how much of a difference that would have made. Like, I kept trying to get this up, and I remember that not ever doing anything whatsoever. It was like so wasteful of resources and APM and just everything. Yeah.
so let's go back and watch this, and I'll give you my thoughts on it.
Okay.
All right, so going across the map, probe. I don't remember what. Okay, so this game you go 13 scout, forward scout. So we already talked about why that's a mistake.
Yeah.
You go make a wall with barracks. Now, this is not the same as making a wall with the gateway.
I kind of realized that. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a couple things you can do to punish you for this.
Like
I'm
he
not saying
can-
it's not tempting, or I'm not even saying that's never correct to do this.
Okay.
But I'm saying you have to keep in mind that there's some things that you can do here to screw with you.
Yeah.
So he
Like
can
the
bounce his
SCV
SCVs
can
into
rally
the wall.
in.
Yeah, he can bounce the SCVs into the wall and kill you. So you need to be paying attention. If his SCV rallies onto the same side as your probe, you need to attack it immediately because
Okay.
you need to make sure that your probe wins that 1v1.
Okay, that's one thing I was wondering is what am I supposed to do when the is it right to attack the SCV and yeah, okay.
Yeah, because you need to make sure that your probe is going to win that 1v1. He can try and micro to bounce a second SCV in there, and then rip, but there's RNG in that. So it's not like he can guarantee that happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Depending on the map and the wall and stuff, you could potentially build a pylon to keep the SCVs out of your side.
Uh-huh.
Right, so you can build a pylon up against the barracks where the cannon would go, and that may create a full wall.
Uh-huh.
And then you can cancel the pylon last second and replace it with a cannon.
Ah, I see what you're
Depending
saying
on the
now.
map, that may be an option.
Okay.
It's not an option here. It may be an option on other maps.
Yeah.
And he can, of course, when the barracks finishes, lift it up.
Right.
That was 100% killing in this case because the left pylon does not overlap with the cannon. So he could get almost a full strand of the cannon and kill it.
The left.
So if he lifts his barracks right now, he gets a full wrap on that cannon because the pylon isn't touching it.
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah.
The barracks floated down one square, get a full strand of
Right.
that cannon, kill it. Makes you sad.
Yeah.
Again, certain maps, that's not the case. So there are situations where making a wall with the barracks is fine. This is not one of them.
Okay.
Because it is not the same as walling with a gateway. If this were a gateway, this would be fine play.
Sure.
It's not a gateway. Again, per usual, second probe AFK, not doing anything. Your first probe takes a whole bunch of damage, building stuff. You probably avoid that if you use your second probe. Gateway placement is interesting. I don't see any specific need for it to be exposed on the high ground like this instead of on the low ground.
Yeah, I think I just
Was
picked.
there a reason for that?
I think I just picked whatever possible location registered in my brain and just said, okay, it needs to go down now.
Yeah, I mean, second probe could have easily built that anyway.
On the low ground, yeah, for sure.
You suicide both your probes on the marine. This is an okay play if you do it without the suiciding part. Now, first round is losing it. That's
Yeah.
You're gonna walk home or to the national. Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, agreed.
Cannon's gonna score it back to the high ground.
Yeah, that was no reason to lose both probes.
Yeah. So at this point, obviously, you need to transition because you don't have probes. So
Yes.
gases, cyber as soon as your gateway finishes. Your cyber went down faster than the previous games, but not quite instantly. 225 when your gateway finishes, 231 when this goes down. A lot faster than the previous games, but you didn't have anything else to really be doing, so it should have been instant.
Yeah.
When you lose both your probes, your only thought should be transitioning and setting another probe to replace them.
Right.
So you shouldn't have anything else to really be thinking about.
Yeah.
I get that it maybe was late because you started a zealot, but you should have a probe in position for when that gateway finishes.
Okay.
So that.
Right.
But I think maybe you started the zealot and then
I guess
ran
that's-
back to your base and sent the probe, but the probe should already be in position.
Yeah, I guess that's a similar takeaway from, or same train of thought as when we did PVC coaching some time ago.
Yeah. Have the probe in position at the wall.
Yeah.
Right. So you saw the factory. You noticed it in time, and your response was correct. The two cannons. That was all good. Zealots here are reasonable, I guess, because of the proxy factory. Without the proxy factory, the zealots don't do anything. Because the factory is proxy, they might. Zealots, I'm generally lukewarm on Zealots in PvT, and this was not a good use of it.
Okay. Sure.
But there are situations where they're good here, and this could have been one of them. But you should be focusing SCVs or chasing when your cyber finishes, you want to be building stalkers and a robo here.
Okay.
If you have high ground in PvT, you want to go proxy robo.
Okay.
Here.
I guess I need more practice with that then.
Yeah.
I haven't tried robo in PvT in months. But okay.
Yeah. If for the sake of consistent practice, you want to try and force Stargate anyway, you can. But I want to note that I have an 84% win rate going proxy robo when I hold the high ground.
Okay.
Even if trying to hold the high ground put me behind a little bit, it still is so strong to go robo from this position that it usually makes up for it.
So I can go robo and then Stargate and then Tempest if somehow we don't break them somehow. Is that possible?
You're all in here. Like you go robo and like a second gateway or something.
Oh, I see.
Money, like, you
Okay.
kill them.
Yeah. Gotcha now.
Because the reason you don't go robo is because of tanks, and if they don't have the nice choke point of a ramp to hold, tanks are not nearly as scary now.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so you can like run forwards and snipe the tank with your immortal, and
this might
and
help
then
me
once
with
the first
my.
tank dies, you win the game.
Yeah, I think this will probably help me with my PvT macro in holding one base tank pushes.
Possible, yeah. Or one base tank pushes is a thing.
Oh yeah, it really should be like. It what they should be doing is taking their expansion and doing it like delayed or like
Yeah.
But I see a lot of people just nope, we're just gonna one base tank push, and I'm just like okay.
All right then.
Hey, people do weird stuff down here, okay?
Oh yeah, I know. That's when my off races were at that level at one point.
Yeah.
They're like 5K now, but they started at like 4.4, 4.5. So I've gone through those ranks. I'm aware. Have you ever played the barcode in the strategy clan?
No.
Okay, he's around that level.
Okay.
Yeah. So all right. So what was mine? Yeah. So. So as I was saying, aside from the proxy robo, you want to be building stalkers here.
Okay.
Stalkers are extremely good in this position. For example, so his bunker placement, it doesn't cover all the way to the cliff, and it's to the right of the mineral patches. So like you can sit right next to the cliff and shoot some SCVs. For example, you can run around and poke his command center. If he empties the bunker to chase it, you can kite those marines. You get a whole bunch of value with your stalker. Right, his marines are off on the right now, or shooting your gateway. So that's some free damage you can deal with the stalker. And it's a good way to practice your stalker micro anyway.
Right. Which I pretty much need in all matchups.
And adepts suck. The only reason we build adepts against Terran is because they can shade past the wall. And
right.
That's the only reason we build these things against Terran. They suck otherwise.
Okay.
Stalkers are much better for like sniping a tank, right? Because they have more range. Adepts have 4 range. Stalkers have 6. Makes it way easier to snipe a tank with your immortal. Because your game plan, when you're going proxy robo here, it's different because he proxied his factory. But in general, your game plan is you have your immortal and like 2 or 3 stalkers, and he seizes up his tank, and you dive on and you kill it. Stalkers deal damage armored, and they have longer range than an adept, so they're best to help you with that. And once you kill that first tank, you win the game. Especially if you didn't lose your immortal to get the kill, you win the game. If you lose your immortal, then you reset it and you have another chance to win the game with a second tank. Adepts don't do anything. They're just bad units. Right, so then Cyclone comes into it. So I'm not sure why you recalled your Zealot, I guess. You should have been assuming Hellions or Widow Mines from the factory. Zealot doesn't do anything against either. So recalling the Zealot didn't make any sense, and now your recall's on cooldown. If you've been building Stalkers and not recalled that, you could recall Stalkers, help out against these Cyclones. They have a lot more micro potential. Especially with shield batteries, you can buy yourself a ton of time here.
Okay, so I guess if I have like 2 stalkers instead, and I can build a shield battery at home, and then like the cyclone threat is at least stalled, and I have more time to pressure his main.
Yeah, and if his factor's on your side of the map, like he has nothing when Immortal comes out. Right, and Immortal comes out, you have like free reign on his orbital, and then the second Immortal comes out, you probably can at that point can just bust his bunker with some shield batteries.
I see.
And maybe like another gateway unit or something.
Okay.
And yeah, like two stalkers and a couple of shield batteries at home are basically immunity against cyclones for quite a long time.
Okay.
At the very least, you can keep him from sniping your Nexus, right? Because if you lock on your Nexus, you instantly break that lock on by attacking him.
Right.
So all you can really do is try and like poke your stalker or something, but they pull back and it's very, very difficult for him to do any damage at that point. It can get a bit difficult mechanically at this point because you're trying to micro on both sides, but so is your opponent, and that's always extremely important to keep in mind. That your opponent is also human. Right? Your opponent is also the same league as you. Your opponent is bad at multitasking just like you are. So trying to micro on both sides.
But I have Printf's multitask simulator.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, and if you embrace this kind of situation as well, that's also another a lot of great multitasking practice. So you can try and make sure that you're better at this than your opponent. At least on average.
Sure.
Yeah, so we already talked about the proxy Stargate being worse than the proxy robo. The robo at home, you already talked about, makes no sense. That.
I don't know what, like, if I build something off of this, when is it ever going to, like, an Immortal or a Prism? In either case, like, the Prism needs things to micro, and then the Immortal, it's just gonna, okay.
Another thing I like to note is probes are actually really good against Cyclones.
Really?
Yeah, Cyclones stuck against probes.
Okay. Now he has
like,
a Hellion, but before that, definitely.
Yeah. So you could, like, the best way to approach this is run your probes towards the ramp, so that way you can trap the Cyclones.
Yeah.
And then, like, move them in a wave to the left and trap and kill the Cyclones.
Okay.
If you just aim for the Cyclones, they'll run down the ramp and you'll just lose once the probes are free. But once you get a trap on the Cyclone, it's like Marauders or Stalkers, right? They both suck against probes as well. Cyclones are the same way.
Okay.
So once you get a surround of the Cyclones, they die.
It's a mechanical stalker.
Yes, basically. So yeah, probes are great here. The Woodman would save you your Nexus for a while and buy you a lot more time to mine.
Okay.
Yeah, so then once this game goes to all hell, your fundamentals completely fall apart. You float 1,500 minerals before you spend any minerals or start mining. So just sit here and watch it, okay?
Oh no.
And here, at 1,500 minerals, you finally, I think, build like 2 cannons or something.
Oh no.
Yeah. You're like, oh, cannon,
yeah.
and start mining cannons.
I think this happens whenever I'm like way off script. Is like I'm just like, like my brain just blanks for a solid 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I do something similar when I'm confused. I'm fine when I'm off script, but when I'm confused about what my opponent is doing, my fundamentals completely fall apart. So I understand what's the problem here, right? And it's a difficult one. The key, I guess, is this is a technically different problem than what I have, like, because it triggers a different situation. But the same idea is you're trying to figure out what the best play is, and so you stop playing the game because you're busy trying to figure out what the best play is.
You're trying to play StarCraft like chess.
Ultimate solution here, and it's more applicable to this scenario than my problem, is just to try and be decisive.
Okay.
Pick something, whether it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. Just pick it and do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the game, you can analyze what would have been a better call and all that.
Yeah.
But in the game, you pick it, you do it, you execute it as well as you can, and
Yeah, the more
Yeah.
decisions that can be made outside of the game, the better. But if not, just pick something.
Yeah. It's less applicable in my situation, which is why I'm not quite sure how to resolve my problem. Because mine is like I don't know what my opponent is doing, and I can decisively pick something and be wrong most of the time. I guess, but I don't know, maybe I should just try and embrace decisiveness there as well. But yeah, just try and pick something and figure out later whether it's good or not.
Okay.
The rest of this game don't really have much to say. You just don't do much and die.
Yeah.
You build some boy brave, and he builds a lot of amazing sense like you killed you. So that's the last of the replays. Do you have any general questions about these games or anything else? Anything we talked about?
No, I don't think so.
Alright, so I guess just a quick summary. 13 scout, 15 scouts, front of the start of the game. Probably your 13th probe and your 15th probe. That's the best scout timings here.
Mm-hmm.
That wall on Eternal Empire, just move that pile up so you can shift it down.
Mm-hmm.
Your second probe needs to stop being AFK and the opponent's natural and needs to come help you.
Right.
Way more options and flexibility. Lets you take less damage. Makes the opponent a lot more difficult for them to play. Right. So distract them a lot trying to deal with two probes and all that.
Yeah.
Just gives you a lot of benefits. You need to actually use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you talked about a lot of detailed decision making in various games. I'm not going to summarize that.
Sure.
But it's useful as like the entire as the whole of it, right? There's no specific detail there that was important. Your transitions need to be way faster in PvT. Way faster, way smoother. You're extremely late in your cyber and your gases consistently.
Okay.
You need to practice holding the ramp with the unit, like keeping vision on it. Even just like going to the unit tester or empty map and just practicing that for 20 minutes even would help a lot.
Yeah, I think I should just open a empty map or each of the maps.
Yeah. You need an actual plan if the opponent builds a ninja base in PvP. I suggest 3-gate robo. I think it's the best, but you can do whatever you want as long as you actually have a plan, because it was clear you did not have one. Yeah,
is mech toss an option for PvP ninja?
What was that?
Is mech toss an option for PvP ninja?
You mean macroing out of it?
Yeah.
So going into a macro game, Immortal Phoenix?
Yeah.
You can do that. I think it kind of throws away your lead. So if you got to keep in mind, your opponent has an advantage in that their base mines out later than yours does. So if you go into a macro game, they actually have more money than you. It's like they basically are. At some point, it's like they are up a base for free, or up half a base for free.
I see.
If you try and go into macro game from there, and your tech isn't necessarily much faster than theirs. Your advantage in that situation is that you kill the production, which means that your production can come online faster even if your tech doesn't, and you are slightly ahead in how much you have, because you should, from their lost mining time and lost units and stuff, you should come out ahead in that. So your advantage is a material advantage and a production advantage. Their advantage is that they have the base with a lot more money on it. You also have the tactical and strategical advantage of their base being poorly situated. Yours is easier to defend.
Okay.
Trying to just macro out of it, I think, throws away pretty much all of your leads. It won't necessarily put you behind, because you can still at least counteract their advantage with your advantages, but I think it doesn't capitalize on your advantage.
Yeah, gotcha.
So I suggest not trying to macro out of it, unless they're doing something stupid like turtling on cannons and going void race. Just
sure.
Kill and punish them for being an idiot. But in
That's
general,
fair.
I think the best way to capitalize on your advantage is to all in them.
Okay. So I guess Warp Tech, Robo. Yeah. Okay.
And you can build your Robo at their base, at your proxy, if that's closer to their new base.
Yeah.
Than your main is. Yeah, if you hold high ground, go Robo. both against Terran and Protoss. You did do this again in the PvP, and you won that, but you need to use your immortals more actively because their goal is to drain your opponent's shield battery energy. That's what your immortals are contributing there, and they are very good at it, but you need to use them. In PvT, if you hold high ground, you can go robo, and your goal is to snipe that first siege tank, and to be as annoying as possible with your first units before they get the tank out.
Okay.
Anything else? No, I think that's about it. Yeah, so that's a summary. I think what we talked about. So no questions from you.
No, I think I asked all of them throughout the games.
All right, so I guess that's the end of it. An hour and a half, almost even. Perfect. Makes the accounting easy.
Alrighty.
All right. Have a good night then. Yeah, we can, I guess, figure out when you want to do another session later.
Yeah.
All right. Good night.
Good night. Thanks. Whew. I am going to put it on the break screen, get something to drink, and then hop on ladder. That was a lot of information. Yeah, I'll be on ladder in a moment. Let's see here. What am I doing? Break screen first. Okay. We're back. Let's switch accounts. Because I want to be able to do everything. Oh man. The analysis on game 1. 30 minutes for a 3-minute game. Yeah, that was hilarious. It was great though. I felt like, yeah, just really drives home a lot of the, like, there were a lot of little nuances to that game that I don't think I thought about at all. Just like, yeah, in general. Oh man. How come you never play this bad when you play against me? Come on, Warbuff. You don't make it hard enough to play bad. Like, in order, like, my errors are largely on transitioning, so have you forced me to transition? I've been ignoring chat as I've been focusing on the coaching. Let's start a game rolling. But I don't know who's still here, but thank you to Dust, Snoopy. It's F equals MA, Daunted, Prometheum, all for stopping by. Warbuff, Lord of Terrans. I think I saw Captain Canuck somewhere, and of course Reality. Oh, there you are at the more recently. Just scrolling through chat. Okay, it's a Terran. We've played this Terran before. Let's put our coaching to use, and we'll throw out a cannon rush, even though we don't usually cannon this map for this account. Oh. Well, we're on the wrong one. Apparently we're on 14-16 instead of 13-15. Indecision. Oh well. Have to start habits somewhere.
You must construct additional pilots. You have not enough minerals.
Oh.
Your products are under attack.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be unpowered in a moment. Oh, I lost my probe. I even hotkey this? No.
You have not enough minerals.
Didn't hotkey this either.
Pylon is under attack. You have not enough minerals. 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 I am here in the shadows. Is the form you require? Our pylon is under attack. Very well.
Oh! I guess this doesn't pair together at all, does it now? Now that I think about it. I'm like, my gateway's on the high ground, so he said to make stalkers, but I guess I really needed this if I was going to still go for a Stargate. I don't know.
You have not enough minerals.
Oh.
Prismatic core. It shall be done. And the crew of the rock. Channel my device. You have full power. Base crystal.
You're kidding. Oh my goodness. Sometimes. Oh, there's a cyclone. I see now. I thought somehow a marine killed it. I was like,
Prismatic core online. It shall be done. Not enough energy. We have full power. Zak Naku Afai.
ah.
Not enough energy. Not enough energy. Base system charged. Channel my device. Power. Mineral field depleted.
Aya! Oh no!
You require more Vespene gas. Kinetic matrix. We seek justice. Forward to victory. You require more Vespene gas. Armada awaits. Confirmed.
Oh, I just realized. I never scouted at all, did I? Gosh. That's very bad. I am floating too. Well, at least now I'll be able to find the,
We seek justice. Mineral field depleted. Mineral field depleted.
Okay, we found the proxy. Or the ninja. Kind of the expected location. Oh, we're already almost done.
Research complete. You must construct additional pylons. I like for iron. Our charge. Research complete. We embrace the glory of battle. You have not enough minerals. We fear no enemy. Direct our vengeance. Vengeance is power. You must construct additional pylons. I like for iron. You must construct additional pylons.
He's told me I needed additional pylons for like the last 20-30 seconds, and I completely ignored him.
You have not enough minerals.
Whoever he is.
I like for iron.
I don't remember what my voice pack is on.
We embrace the glory of battle.
You know, I was so focused on... Hiya!
You have not enough minerals. I like for iron. Vengeance is ours.
The random things. Well, not random, but so many details that I wanted to think about that I don't think I picked a single thing to think about. And I think I'm just dead. I think his economy is too far ahead of mine. I'm also bleeding zealots over and over again. Can't say I've been in this position in quite a while.
We embrace the glory of battle. Forward to victory. Throw fate to the wind.
Well, that's a planetary now. Out of ideas. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Had the game until I lost the two Tempest. Yeah. 5 well, I was doing well with them until I lost 2 of them at once. Like in a single scan, he killed 2 Tempests, and then like, oh man, that hurt so much. Yeah. That makes sense. Man, that bunker salvage was very funny too. Okay, well that was a close one. I think I don't know. What I feel like there were other things I could have done better, but I'm not sure what off the top of my head. I guess the first pylon or first cannon being unpowered for as long as for the start was not good. I think repowering that sooner. I'm not sure what I did. I don't remember, but I remember that being something. 4 for Cyclone, 5 for Viking, yeah? Yeah. Printf. Help clarify. Yeah. The making the zealot. More batteries, they were dry. Yeah. Oh! Hey! Hi there! Oh crap. What is this thing doing? Okay, well, we're having a cannon war apparently. Where did he put his, okay, it's there. Oh, he put it in his mineral line?
Your probes are under attack.
Oopsies.
Our pylon is under attack. Your probes are under attack.
Oopsies.
Your probes are under attack.
Hiya!
Your probes are under attack. You have not enough minerals.
Oh, well. I guess that's that then.
Our pylon is under attack. You have not enough minerals.
No, I can't get by that.
Highlight for iron.
Interesting.
Sadari.
Um...
You require more Vespene gas.
Really? He has a stalker already? Oh no. That's annoying.
Blades of justice. Command me. For Artanis. Kassak, State of Clark. I'm here in the shadows. Let our enemy know our fury. Base is under attack. You require more Vespene gas.
Your students are fighting, Printf. I think I am losing though. I'm not sure though.
You require. You require more Vespene gas.
Glory to the Daylong.
We are at full power.
Glorious combat upon
Oh, that's right. They,
Our pylon is under attack.
oh.
Our pylon is under attack.
I don't know why I wasn't working on this already.
Channel base is under attack. You must construct additional
Oh, I did build pylon. It's not done yet. Wasting chronos.
You must construct additional pylons. You require more Vespine gas. You require more Vespine gas. You require more Vespine gas. Teleports. You require more Vespine gas. You require more Vespine gas. You require more Vespine gas. La Faroche. Not enough energy. Teleport successful. The skies await. Time for battle. You require more Vespine gas. You have not enough. You have not enough minerals. You have teleport successful. Not enough energy. Where do our enemies lurk? You have not enough minerals. I will comply. On the wings of justice. Teleport successful. La Faroche. Anan Porkal. Zero triumph. I teleport successful. Teleport successful. We face the enemy. I strong. Not enough energy. Zero triumph. I am eager to strike. Not enough energy. Not enough energy. Not enough energy. Time for battle. The skies await. I stalk through the storm. Not enough energy. I return to serve. Not enough energy.
Huh. Your students are both expanding. You have failed. I'm sorry. Oh man. There's a part of me that wants to blame him. Yes, I will definitely accept this friend request. I swear I wasn't sniping. Sure. My rule on or my no, I don't know if rule is correct, but my feeling on sniping is like one game is fine. It's great. It's like it's someone you know. You get to play against them. You have a fun time, and then multiple is like okay, stressful. Oh man. Oh, you didn't hear my or maybe it just came up. Oh no, I don't mind. It's the first time, like I was saying, the first time I have no qualms about it. It's like, oh, fantastic, sure, let's play. And then after that, it's like in one day. And then after that is like again? Really? That's my sentiment anyhow. I know people are all over the spectrum. Some people are like, why are you playing me? And then other people are like, oh yeah, let's play again and again and again. I'm like, So yeah, I don't mind. Yeah. So it's like you're not stream cheating. Stream cheating and sniping are two completely different things. Stream cheating is like no tolerance, zero tolerance. But I you said you turned it off, and I trust you too. I know we haven't really crossed paths that much, but we've I've seen you around, so I get a feel for who's who, you know. I don't know if I played well, I didn't need to see the forge because we crossed both of our probes cross paths. So like when I got to your base, I was just looking for where your first pylon was because I didn't want to put my pylon in range of your where it would just like where you can just build a cannon and defend. But I kind of picked a spot randomly. Like, how was I supposed to wall that? I have no idea. I was just like, I don't know why I didn't go for the pocket on the top side to the right of the ramp. I don't know what I was thinking. I was just like, my probe is so late on dropping anything. What am I doing? That was like the extent of my like, I don't know. There's a lot of little details going on at the start of Canon War. It's actually kind of like, I don't know, something I should consider practicing at some point. You went for the low ground? Yeah, it did at least give you the contain, so I couldn't expand very quickly. Granted, we shouldn't be expanding at all. Okay, we've cannoned to Terran. We're going to we'll just do Zealot first into Charge Lot All In for this game, and could use a break from the cannon rushing. I do intend to play more than cannons. And yeah, it's just, I don't know. Zealot First is so retro. I don't know it. I think the most recent I've seen it was like Hero, like 2 seasons ago in GSL. But he was the only one that ever did it. It's like at least 2 years old. Oh gosh. This is supposed to be hotkeyed here. There we go. 18, 19, 20. Hmm?
Your probes are under attack. Your probes are under attack.
Don't think. Oh.
Highlight for iron. You have not enough energy. You require more Vespine gas. Your probes are under attack.
Glory to the day.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Where shall we march?
We stand as one. You require more Vespine gas. You require more Vespine.
Oh.
You require my skill. I am the heart. Cold. I am the voice of the abyss. You require me. I am the heart. Cold. Stay cold.
Let your will be. Yes. Where shall we march? Where
Oh. Hey, Cinder. Or Chance, rather. I didn't know we played. I kind of figured... I mean, I know that I've seen you from Diamond Team League, but I didn't remember that we had played. Playa? Yeah. It's a very, it's like... Where did it come? What I saw Zest do it like 2 years ago. I think is where I saw it first, and then Hero pulled it out like 2 seasons ago. But I think it was replaced by the Adept first before they changed, or the Core first. The Core first put it out of fashion because the Adept used to be like 3 seconds shorter, so then it could always get across on the Core first in order to cancel the CC. Or not cancel, but stall the CC. But then now it can't anymore unless it's on certain maps, I think. Like, I think it can on Nightshade. At least that's my understanding. That was one of the better ones I've done for it, I think. Like, I was relatively happy with my multitasking throughout that in comparison to what usually happens. Like, I felt like my micro and macro were happening together. I was tabbing through my back and forth between my army and my Nexi, so then I didn't have to build a bunch of probes when I got home. You go CC before orbital to make sure that it finishes before the Adept arrives. Yeah. Nice. Okay, where are we? Triton. We just played Triton, so we'll rotate our veto. I really like Triton. I feel like there's a lot of funny things I can do there that are like specific to the map. It's like there's nothing about Triton that should make it good, except maybe PvZ. But that's only if Zerg hatch first, right? So I don't know. Okay, I guess we'll cannon rush. Or not. I probably shouldn't be taking a drink of tea right as the game's starting. I was like picking up the tea and I'm like, wait, I need to switch the rally and do the chrono. Wait, how do I do this? Non-congruous. Okay, well, I don't like simulacrum anyway. We're gonna take that as okay, we get a get out of jail free card. Zerg. I've played this Zerg, but it's been some time. Okay. Because it's Zerg, we just need the standard pylon 1416. I think this is a hair late. 16. Oh, why did I send my probe there? Oh no. Well, now my gateway's gonna be late. What are my probes doing? What is this guy doing? Well, this is just fine. Oh! There was no reason to lose that rope. I think he's gonna rush Spine Crawlers since he kept this. Now there's one. Oh. I don't think I need this cannon, but I'm just paranoid that I missed lings somewhere. I think those are his lings. I'm not sure what the earliest is that you can have lings off of patch first. I mean, I know it's not 1514 that he did, so...
I'm here in the shadows.
Oh, is he, I need a scout, I guess. I feel like I'm just gonna lose this, though. I have no idea what he's... Oh, I made an adept.
Glory to the day. Yes. Give up.
What is he doing? Does he have a baning nest?
Executor. We are of one mind.
Hello?
For Zala.
Okay,
Glorious combat is upon us.
well, I guess we get our gateways. He doesn't have a lair. I don't know why I built this cannon. Like, somewhere in my mind, I said, like, drop a ward was the reason to run his lings out like that. But he doesn't have a lair. So, I guess I don't actually need this cannon. He has... Oh, maybe he has a ninja base. Yeah, that would make the most sense now.
Spare none who oppose.
State thy bidding.
The first war shall persevere.
I return to serve.
Glory to the Daylong.
Okay, we're safe here. We know he doesn't have a lair.
I am the voice of the eclipse.
Ire shall be reclaimed. Faith before fear. I have met the end.
I'm not finding it.
We are of one mind.
I don't really want to attack into 3 spine crawlers.
Additional pylons. You must construct additional pylons.
I didn't hotkey this.
We serve with pride.
Still no there.
Warriors have engaged the enemy.
Glorious
Found it.
combat is upon us.
Infestation pit and lair. Oh no. Oh no.
You must construct additional pylons.
I think we're in trouble.
You must construct
This is quite a late realization.
I have met the enemy.
There's B the swarm host. Ayah! Oh no! That was terrible, Micro! Oh gosh. I didn't even save the prism. Ah! Well, man. I feel like if he had done this in his main base, maybe we would have a better reaction. But like, oh man. I just didn't think about this in the slightest. Oh, well, I didn't save the Colossus. Oh, man. I don't know what I had selected there. I thought I had selected the prism and was picking things up, but apparently not. It was as if there was no Micro, because there wasn't. Oh man. Oh my goodness. I don't even know what happened. I must have selected something thinking I selected the prism. Oh man. Gosh. I'm just gonna go hide now. Bye. Oh gosh. Oh no. So embarrassing. You know where you've seen that level of Micro before, Printf? When you resume from replay and there is no opponent. It would have been identical. Alright, it's a Zerg on Triton. If they go hatch first, we can punish it with 2-gate. If they go 12 pool, then we pray they don't know what they're doing. But it's not as bad as Nightshade. Nothing can be as bad as Nightshade for PvZ.
You have not enough minerals.
Very creative with his Micro. Oh no. Oh no.
You must construct.
Or lack thereof. Okay. Cool. It's there.
Probes are under attack.
Oh, did I lose my...
You have not enough minerals.
Well, this is something of a minor predicament. Why did I make this? Sell it. Don't know.
You have not enough minerals. You have not enough minerals.
I feel like this is not a thought-through reaction on my end.
Base is under attack. I'm here in the shadows. I am the voice of the eclipse. Base is under attack.
Wait. Oh, I have to'd. That's why my zealot is back here.
Research complete.
I feel like I'm likely to win this game on account of my opponent making more mistakes than me, rather than me playing well. There are a lot of things about this PvZ that I would have liked to do differently. But I guess it doesn't matter. Um... I was 2-gating, and then I couldn't drop my second gate because there was creep in the way, and I didn't know where to put it. So then I couldn't drop my second gate, so I got Warp Tech, since I couldn't build 2 Stalkers. And then, I guess since I was getting Warp Tech, I decided to get 3 gates. I imagine I was supposed to do something about the lack of real estate for a second gateway, but it just never registered that he would just not cancel his hatch. I'm like, surely he will cancel his hatch because he sent a drone out in order to build a hatch at my natural, so I don't have to worry about real estate because he must cancel it in order to have the resources to. At least that's how my brain worked. I don't know if that was logical at all, but that's what I was thinking. As I tagged his drone that left already with my other probe. So I was chasing him, and I saw he was going to my natural, so I knew that he wanted to proxy hatch me. So I just assumed he was going to Zerg has infinite money! Of course! Why didn't I think of that? So foolish of me. Oh, gosh. Yeah, I mean, I built my first gateway in position that I had room for a second gateway but I was late on that by like a hair, and I was just like, huh, okay, well then. I think also I was just like partly distracted by his drone leaving, so I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I don't know. Like, I think one of my screens per minute went to looking for... So, he killed my... Because I didn't micro my... So my screens per minute went to his drone at the wrong time. So I should have attended to it when his drone attacked my probe. But instead, I attended to it after my probe was already dead. So then I had to spend more time looking for the hatch to make sure it wasn't in my base, instead of, at that point, I still had time to drop the gateway, the second gateway on the low ground. Yeah. So I guess because I didn't do something else, it led me down this other path of disaster. Oh, man. Gosh. Okay. Alright, I am going to get one more win and call it a stream, as I have to go to dinner soonish. Dad's not even back yet. Is he? Don't think he is. Maybe 2 more wins. We'll see. Okay. It's fine. Zerg, Simulacrum. You know what? I think I'd like to try getting this map again. It's not very popular, but it's doable. So if we see a hatch first, we'll go for it. But we need to drop our safety pylon on entry. We can't turn around and do it. Oh, that is early. This is 15-14. There's no Overlord. Hey? Shouldn't his pool have started? Did he just... I am thoroughly confused. Is he not building a pool? He started his pool. Maybe my probe was just late. I think my probe was just late. I don't know. Something about this game is weird. I can't put my finger on it. I feel like double gas stealing is really dangerous. What? I could have sworn I checked this! Did I not send my probe down here? I will never understand some things. This game among them.
Not enough energy. Our pylon is under attack. You have not enough minerals. I am here in the shadows. Stay. You require my space is under attack. I am the
Did I start warp tech already? Oh my goodness. I am so all over the place right now. I think there's too many things in my brain.
You have not enough minerals.
I think 1 gas steal okay. I think 2 gas steal too much. Well, warp tech will be done soon, at least. And we're we're supposed to have more stalkers here. Like 2 stalkers and an adept. I'm supposed to start a prism, I think, but I'm going to start an immortal because I want warp-ins here. I... Immortal wasn't doing anything. Idle robo time. Supply block. Yikes. That was messy. I know he said it was good, but my multitasking on the macro while microing was... But, okay. It worked out in the end. Yeah, I guess it was just an early hatch, except... Or, I don't know. No, because he proxied too. Like, this was really strange. I want to see what... 13 hatch. Or 14 hatch. And then another. It was 14-14, but it was hatch. Not... I don't know. I don't know, Printf. Where do these zergs come from? Oh, wait, no. This still doesn't make sense. I don't know. Okay, it sounds like Dad did get home, so I will be leaving soon. So that is our last win to close out the night. Yeah, surprisingly pleasant. Just a bad build? That's fair, that's fair. There are enough of them at this level, right? We don't have to understand what our opponent is trying to do. We just have to beat what they're doing. Alright. Thank you all for stopping by. You guys know where to find me. Here, Twitter, Discord, all the places. And the raid is going. Bye!
Being a person is complicated, but we figure it out. In fact, people are always doing